Well, 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 guess who's back? It is me, your boy, Yugopnik. I have a chair, and I am recording from outside of my usual environment. I am at a place that might be familiar to some of you guys. The seaside. The place with the sea and with the beach. Okay? I haven't streamed for 3 days. Last time I've seen you was on Sunday. The rest of the days I pretty much spent driving and enjoying the lovely weather we have here. The salty water on my back and on my chest. A few drinks here and there. And a lot of touching of grass. How you guys been in the meanwhile? Hope you're all doing okay. I'm really proud of the blast off meme today. It is fucking fantastic. Vomiting. The last true Zen state that a person can experience. A moment of complete world abandon and absolute, total, thoughtless focus. Shitting is supposed to be that. Shitting is supposed to be that too, but phones have ruined it. Nobody's on their phone while they're puking. And if they are, then God has truly lost. Welcome to yet another episode of Yugopnik Twitch. Welcome in, welcome in. How have you guys been doing? Any of you die in the last 5 days? I can see that all the OGs in chat, so nobody important has died.
Wonderful, a new child soldier.
Thank you very much, Robo, for the sub for 9 months now. Dear friend of the show. Thank you, Robo. Glad to watch after my tire blew yesterday. Really wish I didn't need a car. That fucking sucks. Can you buy a new one? Can you afford a new one? I hope you can. Because with American infrastructure, you literally cannot live without a car. It kind of sucks. Okay? But yeah, you see the blast of meme. Links are in chat. Retweet that motherfucker. Retweet it hard. Also, Mike seems to be back. Really good to see Mike. I capitalized exactly 0 of Mike not being here because I pretty much didn't stream throughout the entire period he was banned on. And what do I mean by capitalize? Like, when some of the bigger streamers like himself are not there, you can, get a lot of their audience. And now the first day that he's back, I also stream. And he's doing his whole, thing there. So there's millions of people watching. So it's just going to be me and a bunch of OGs here in chat probably today. But hey, a smaller, cozier group is always nice. There was a Palestine Solidarity rally yesterday, and it went over all right. Chat showed up at the end and started shouting slurs, so I told him to show us his best Budweiser impersonation. That's a very smart way of saying it. But yeah, I'm recording from this place. I'm recording with the travel setup that you've all seen. If you haven't seen it, it's basically 2 screens that open up like a laptop on one side and just a MacBook on the other. Pretty much that. I saw my dad the other day. We got absolutely pissed drunk on some fucking weird ass fucking vodka. I posted some Instagram stories about that. Ate really good food, really good food, and got into a massive debate with the restaurant owner till like 4 a.m. Not my best time, honestly. Guy was kind of low-key annoying and kind of high-key fucking stupid as shit. So I woke up on the next day with hardcore anxiety. Anyways, today is Chud Watch. Today we watched the new Second Thought video, watched the new Big Joel video, and we watched the new Tucker Carlson video. We have some fantastic content waiting for us right here. Some great conversations that, all of these 3 points can serve as a jump-off point for. So strap in. It is Chud Watch. It is time to cringe. It is time to hate ourselves. It is time to be verbally violent and offensive towards the verbally violent and offensive. Jump on in, jump on in. Now, let me see if this is showing up properly. Yes, it is showing up properly. Before we do, let's check out what Mike is saying. Mike is a friend of the show, and I watched a little bit of the first part of this. Let's watch what Mike is talking about right now.
It would be a bad thing.
I've never done this before. I've never watched a live stream on a live stream. It's slightly unhinged, in my modest opinion, but let's still do it. Wait, zoom it in, baby. Oh yeah. Oof. Oh, it's filling up the whole screen. Oh yeah. So glad to see you prop up GDF. His videos are great. Yeah, his videos are very good research. Yeah. Here you go. So now with improving my mental health and also improving my physical health, I'm going to the gym and eating more healthy. So got a job last week. Damn, you fucking killing it. You're absolutely killing it, my friend. Go for it, brother. Fuck yeah. Fucking legend. Go for it. Thanks for the sub on the channel. Yeah, lots of beautiful Oilers here. Yeah, it's a new month, actually. I need to change that shit. Wow. Jesus. Yeah, we're very off the cuff, aren't we? Manage goals, subscriptions, end goal. Start another goal. Write to 2,200. And then write August. You know, I was born in August. This month, it's my birthday. Guess what day is my birthday? I'm celebrating it on the 15th. So it's not on the 15th. It's going to be a fun time. It's not on the 15th. It's immediately the 15th. My girlfriend's mother's is on the 11th, so it's not the 11th. Keep guessing. I'm not going to tell you, though.
The left is offering truth.
Thank you, McFabal. You be brought, Tebe.
But we have to offer truth and growth. We have to offer rehabilitation. We have to offer... we have to prevent ourselves from falling into the trap that the right...
Exactly, the 32nd. Yes, on the 32nd.
Everything else is somebody else's fault. I would never say that. And I think that is the most important thing. Me being, you know, there's a meme in my community that I called Mike Was Right. Now, Mike was right is not to say that I'm always right. In fact, almost every day I say this is a Mike was wrong moment. In fact, I want Mike was wrong to be just as much of part of this community as Mike was right. Right? I don't want people to just follow what I say.
Being right or wrong on most predictions, at least, is literally gambling.
Refine what I say to...
So it's fine for somebody to not guess something properly, which is weird coming from me because I'm always 100% correct. But then again, I'm just built different. It's different.
Have Mike.
There is no Yugo was wrong segment here on this channel. Because it just doesn't happen. I don't know. It can't be beat.
I will say this.
It's the 12th. There you go. You know my birthday. 12th of August.
Is an incredibly isolating and difficult job.
I'm a fucking double Leo, motherfucker. I'm a double Leo, August 12th. You can dox the shit out of me now. Good luck.
As I talk about politics, because I am prominent on this platform and other platforms, and because I believe in shit, and I argue for it, those that are against it.
Mike is a true believer. He's not just in it for the grift. I can smell that shit a fucking mile away. He really is.
A ill-intentioned phrase, a moment of a loss of control, a moment of cringeworthiness, embarrassment, or shame, emotional upset. I got in, I'm lost. What did you actually do, Mike? I would encourage everybody to watch the VOD if you just got in. Like, that is the way I live. I don't wish that on you. That's part of the job. That's what I signed up for. But I also don't want, like, I think the one thing, if I could say one thing about the clip is...
Okay, but leftist grifter is such a oxymoron. No, it is not, my friend. You can play the character of a leftist and make a lot of money and keep people in the particular segment of the funnel where you find yourself in order to generate more capital. That's the whole funnel theory I developed. And we call them tumors, right? You could make an argument that, it is leftist grifter makes no sense because you stop being a true leftist if you're not contributing to the cause, but instead exclusively to your own bank account. Then then you would be right. Then it would be an oxymoron.
And that is fucking shameful. And I fucked up big time. Now, it was an old clip. It was from, I think, 11 months ago or 10 months ago. but I still said that in those words, and I didn't address it or correct it at the time. And I think the one thing that bothers me is that there are people who are holding on to things that they have taken and are ready to use on people who are prominent members of our community. And I think that that is a bad behavior as well. I don't like that kind of behavior. I want people to bring it to us immediately. And if we stand 10 toes down over a fucking fucked up clip, that's one thing. But I think everybody who understands that we also should be working to build, like, trust goes both ways, right? We need to build that level.
If you're looking for somebody to either represent the movement, have a large platform, or in organizing circles, if you expect them to be 100% faultless, you will have a movement of zero, okay? You will be throwing rocks from the glassiest of fucking houses. There's not one human being on planet Earth that is not fucked up at a certain point in their life. What differentiates someone who has, done something problematic and regretted it and took steps in order to combat it versus someone who doesn't do any of those is the main factor that should be at play here. Of course, the level of the offense should also, or I would argue organically be calculated, because it's very different to speak out of tone or, in anger generalize a particular topic, etc., something that to an extent Mike has done, versus, being a sex pest or being a hardcore grifter in the background, or an open traitor to the ideology or to the cause. TLDR, absolutely keep everybody fucking accountable. That is a fucking no-brainer. But also, once you keep them accountable, and they properly address the shit and properly readjust, don't throw them out with the bathwater, because eventually you also will be thrown out with the bathwater. Okay, this isn't even like Marxian hot takes. This is an ancient moral and ethical perspective that we have since the fucking dawn of social constructs and religion, which is forgiveness, right? But forgiveness is not only granted when someone asks for it, forgiveness is granted when somebody works towards not doing that shit again, right? You stop forgiving when somebody's done something 700 fucking times. So yeah, it is not ironically that fucking simple. That is how normal people are supposed to think in leftist circles and outside of leftist circles. Because everybody's in the glass house. Fucking trust me, everyone is in a glass house.
If not, how do you change your mind? I think it may be slowed down. I don't have the original VOD, which is unfortunate. Like, that's the kind of thing. It feels like I was talking excessively slowly based on my normal cadence. I can't say for sure whether that's true or not. Mike, did you manage to get the VOD and find out if you corrected yourself after? These kind of clips edits won't stop. So are you taking steps to archive your VODs online? Yes. I'm going to have all my VODs archived from now on.
I am changing the title of the video to be a little bit edgy. Did it change? What the hell? Did you change? Okay. The title is literally Central Committee is back. The People's Court is in session. I'm playing the character of the most annoying leftist to ever exist, which I mentioned previously, okay?
Erase the distinction between
the one who simply wants to judge but does not want to see any actual correction in the behavior of the people they are judging or criticizing. Criticism is a verbal and philosophical tool which is completely useless unless it materializes in the real world. TLDR, if you're criticizing for the sake of criticizing without being able to turn it into something constructive, something that, changes a pattern of behavior of a particular person, or, for example, gets them kicked out of the movement or whatever, then you're just doing mental gymnastic and quasi-intellectual masturbation. So, yeah, there needs to be an actual effect of offset criticism. And when you see a leftist that goes like, oh, yeah, some of the shit I've said, maybe not my best take. Teach me how to be better, and then adapt to that. That's the whole. Like, everyone will at some point have that sort of experience. People with platforms, people without platforms, people talking about politics, or people just having a normal relationship with another human being. Like, you will eventually do something that you don't really mean, and then somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, what the fuck, bro?" And then you adjust. Like, that's it. Thank you, Natalie, very much for the 9 months. I hope our Twitch child was born healthy with 2 legs, 2 arms, a pair of eyes, and a nice-looking nose. Because I don't have that, so that would mean that you cheated it with another Twitch streamer.
Ian, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I am a prominent left-wing voice. I need to hold myself to a higher standard. Just because I made a human mistake doesn't mean it's not a mistake. Do you guys understand? FD and Shaw both have a video essay explaining this term. I think not knowing this term.
Yeah, absolutely agree with it. Like, when you're in his job, or to a lesser extent my job, because I don't exactly take myself too seriously, very tasty. What's the word? The fuck did I want to say? Jeez, zoned out. Oh yeah, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard. Completely correcta mundo.
Use your tism intentionally for evil. We've all slipped up and said something kind of dumb. I mean, if that's how you want to, listen, I appreciate the sentiment. You don't need to soothe me right now. I'm not asking for your soothing. I'm asking so we could grow together. I think one of the things that is problematic is that people are not really comfortable with accountability and conversation. And just sitting in being wrong and fixing it. So much of our society is about ego assuagement and like papering over shit and PR and spin that people can't sit with. I did harm. I fucked up. I need to do better. I am one of those people. In fact,
Absolutely. Everything is PR, and because of that, people either have to pretend that they did nothing wrong, or do a public walk of shame as a means to keep as much of their audience as possible. Neither of those two approaches, want to do anything constructive, don't want to change a person's attitudes or behavioral patterns. They just want to readjust to whatever particular audience they believe they can keep. Sorry, alarm played. The only thing a normal, organic human being like Mike is supposed to do in cases like this is look at the criticism and say, "Oh, this makes sense," or "Oh, this is absolute fucking load of shit," right? If the criticism is a load of shit, then the people that really care about that criticism obviously are going to stop watching, or they're going to stop being your friends, or they'll stop being your partner, etc., etc. Then it's a true disagreement that should lead us to splitting our ways. But if you abandon a little bit of your ego and dig deeper in said criticism, you might find some truth to it, because almost nobody except very unhinged, terminally online fucking trolls actually run around the internet and start shit for no fucking reason. Usually people starting shit actually care. Sometimes they're psychotic in the way they do it, but often I have to believe that they actually care. So because they care, there's probably a small segment of the criticism, or the whole criticism, that makes sense when directed at you. So sit down, properly do retrospect, and then adjust to it, and then talk to your audience or your friend or your partner about what the fuck you learned, and then you take the next step. It's just why do I have to say this? This is normal human interactions 101. I feel like I am infantilizing you guys by explaining this, to be honest. Streamception.
I'm trying to talk about right now, which is my own accountability. We could talk. This is an evolving conversation that will continue. All right, we will have this evolving conversation that will be continue, but it would be counter to the purpose of this stream for me to do that right now. So let's leave that aside. Okay, let's leave that aside. Let's focus on on what happened and how we do better. And then we'll talk about the other stuff. The one thing that I saw is that this turned into a critique of idpol and class reductionism when it's more about make an issue, try to apologize for it. I am not a class reductionist. I am not a class reductionist. In fact, one of the times I got banned was for watching a Robin DiAngelo speech on white fragility. I did a 4-hour stream on white fragility, and I was talking about the legitimate conversations about white leftists, whites in these spaces, and I got banned for that. So the idea that I am a class reductionist is just an outright smear, and I would call it a lie. I'm comfortable saying that's a lie.
Mike, what the fuck are you even addressing? Like, a guy was like, oh, some people are making this about class reductionist talking points. And Mike is immediately like, I am not that one. I mean, I respect it, you know. I've never been in his seat, so do your thing, brother. Do your thing, queen.
Practice reining in your ego? Oh, of course. I mean, like, this is true of everybody, but also me. Let's watch what Hassan was saying. Okay, so let's talk about part of the reason why these conversations are so fraught is because the Jewish people have faced some of the worst oppression in the history of humanity in the Holocaust. All right? And so anti-Semitism is a hatred that has led to the destruction of entire types of nationalities. Like, there are almost no Jewish people left in Poland. It used to be the largest Jewish population in Europe. Do you understand how the impact of the Holocaust, the impact of anti-Semitism has led to the destruction of millions? And so because of that history, we can't dismiss anti-Semitism as not serious. It is a serious bigotry that should be dealt with. 100%. Now, I do think, and this is without a doubt true, that anti-Semitism and the fight against it is being weaponized by Israel to protect their state from criticism. And so now everybody who criticizes Israel is going to be lambasted with charges of anti-Semitism.
Of course, and this is not controversial in any way, shape, or form, nor is it something original and exclusively belonging to, for example, the Jewish struggle or Israeli Zionism. Reactionary and fascist states have used a very real suffering lived by their people at some earlier point in time as a means to muster a domestic fascist movement through the perspective of we have been stepped on, now we must step on. This is very classic. The Israelis have not invented this. Israelis using anti-Semitism and the Holocaust as a argument, an excuse for continuing the genocide of Palestinians. There's literally nothing new has happened from the dawn of civilization. And for us to classify what Israel is doing as something original kind of misses the point because it's very systemic, which Mike addresses really well.
With respect and assuming good faith. And the people that are empowered to use moderation tools will use the moderation tools. Okay? All right, let's keep going.
Of Arab descent, but is Jewish, if you recall. It was a teenager in Israel. And he actually got mad when I said, well, you're Arab. Like, your family is from an Arabic country. Like, from an Arab country. And he was like, no, I'm Jewish. The categorization for Arab Jews in Israeli society, the specific designation for it is Mizrahi. Okay? There are Ashkenazi Jews, Eastern European Jews that are white.
I missed this.
Many of them also living in the United States of America, the majority. There are Persian Jews as well. Okay? And there are
Ashkenazi Jews have a whole slur for Moroccan Jews, and Moroccan Jews also have a whole slur for light-skinned Jews. It's like every other society. What? Oh Lord! Oh.
Okay.
And this is what Benjamin Netanyahu in the clip was what I found it to be, and this is part of the Zionist project. The Zionist project is to deny Palestinian identity, right? It is to pretend that Palestinianism, and this is Palestine nationality doesn't exist.
Oh, no worries,
There's no
Ann.
such thing as a Palestinian people. Top Israeli minister says. The reason why they're saying this, they're denying Palestinian nationality so that they can ethnically cleanse them. Now, this was said March 20th of 2023. Before October.
Listen, we're Marxists here. All national identities, even religious identities, even cultural identities, all identities based on flag, creed, anthem, and nation are woo-woo-wah-wah. Okay? They're woo-woo-wah. They're a bunch of dudes sat down and were like, huh, we are, what's an inoffensive nationality that no longer exists? We are Prussians. I'm a Prussian because I don't like the beer that the Bavarians drink. This makes me different than the Bavarian, right? So any conversation about what constitutes a real nationality versus a fake one, what somebody can use as identifiable traits of an ethnicity or of a nationality versus someone else is all woo-wah-wah. Like it's make believe, because national belonging is make believe. We make believe that so much that we birthed it into existence, and now it is very important because we fucking go and shoot each other because of a particular flag or ethnic belonging or national belonging, right? The reason I'm mentioning all of this is the whole hyper-specific discussion about what constitutes a particular culture or ethnicity or nation being so subjectively defined and so easily manipulated by so many state apparatuses or even private interest groups that it's always going to be fluid. It's always going to be moving around, right? Very easy example. Yugoslavia starts falling apart. You got to motivate people that are basically the same to start shooting each other. Let's use the Serbian nationalists' perspective, right? Serbian nationalists sit down and they're like, okay, the Croats, they're different because they're Catholic. Okay, we're going to go fuck them up because they're Catholic. And then somebody's like, but what about the Muslims in Bosnia? And they're like, are they Serbs or are they not Serbs? And then some idiot probably was like, okay, we're going to say they're not Serbs because to be Serbian is to be Orthodox. And the Croats were like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. To be Croatian is to, I guess, be Catholic now? We're going with this thing? Yeah, we're going with this thing. And then they found categories that can be utilized as a form of division, which inspired crazy amounts of war crimes. Same thing to a much grander extent over in Israel. What constitutes an Israeli? We're going to make it so that it does not include Muslims or Palestinians or Arabs in general, unless they are very specific Jewish descent. And we're going to use that as an argument to make them non-citizens and through that dehumanize them and cause them great harm. It's the easiest fucking social category to manipulate. Nationality, ethnicity, even culture. Because it is subjective. Because it is based in nothing except a bunch of dudes high-fiving and being like, now we are a thing. Oh, but there's people over there that say that they are not part of that thing? Yeah, we're going to shoot them. Yeah, like that's it. A little bit oversimplified, but that's it. That's why I don't even engage in like, okay, what constitutes a Jewish person? What constitutes a Bosniak? What constitutes a Palestinian? What constitutes an Arab? What constitutes a Slav? What constitutes blah, blah, blah. I don't engage in it because that shit changes. Then depending on who you ask, he's going to say a different thing. Ask 5 Americans what it means to be white. The 3 of them are going to give you different answers. 2 might agree. It's a fun conversation. Don't get me wrong. I do like race science, edgy jokes here like 24/7 as a way to make fun of racists and bigots, obviously. But it's just I am a thing now. I am a thing. Oh, you're another thing. Ooh, that's it. What constitutes a yugopnik? A man in a mask. So you get my fucking point, okay? I think you get my point. All bullshit just designed to justify hyper-exploitation and division among the working exploited masses. Absolutely! Like, if we're really honest, and this hurts a lot of people because a very big part of their identity is connected to a particular, national belonging. And that's fine. Mine is so as well. What the fuck? Dude, I am a living fucking stereotype of a Balkan man, like, from every fucking perspective. Because I happen to be one. Like, I just like that type of life. But it doesn't make me look at another type of life and be like, mine is superior. Yours is inferior, you dirty weed smoker. Or something. Like you fucking healthy-minded, normal guy over there. Like, no. We hold hands and we do our shit together. Because if you don't believe in our ability to hold hands and do shit together, even though we lead very different lives, then we pretty much disagree on everything. Then Marxism doesn't work. Then the drive to create structures of division as a means to continue class society will always overpower class consciousness and the fight against the division of class. It's fucking whatever.
I look stupid. I am not treating the stuff with the appropriate level of heft. I just fucked up big time.
So why do people need to draw lines between each other, though? Like what I said earlier, because it's much easier to shoot a motherfucker if your president or your CEO tells you that they're not the same as you, that their way of life is inferior or barbaric or strange or incompatible to yours, that there is some intrinsic genetic composition that they possess, that you possess, that somehow make you different species. All of this shit. Sorry I wasn't there. No worries.
Say like a constructive
National identity for a very long period of time was a progressive tool which unified people under the idea of national belonging against monarchist structures, where after, up until one point, at least in the Western Hemisphere, you didn't have national belonging. You were a serf under king whatever of France or of this or that, but the kingdom was what you would serve under. And then during the Nationalist Revolution, specifically the French one, they needed to come up with another piece, another glue to hold together the masses. It was no longer their service to a man chosen by God who ruled over us with their family. Now it was this particular national belonging. It was culture, it was sovereignty, it was these borders, blah, 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 blah. That same progressive nationalism was then used by countries by places. They weren't countries back then, by places that were colonized as a means to save themselves, offset colonization by identifying the very significant differences, especially class interest differences between the colonized and the colonizers. So you had progressive nationalist movements that did a really cool thing. They were like, we don't want to just be a British colony. We want to be Nigeria, right? But after that point, in my modest opinion, nationalism in general loses rationality and loses its progressive factor. It becomes a tool of division and TLDR of losing the whole point, because it hyper focuses you on national belonging instead on
Wonderful. A
the
new
true
child
material
soldier.
differences that exist between classes of people inside of a particular society. It's a fucking manipulation. That's what it is. Thank you, Chuck Dies, for the 5 months, my friend. I hope you didn't die. In these advanced countries, England, France, Germany, the national problem was solved long ago. National unity outlived its purpose long ago. Objectively, there are no general national tasks to be accomplished. Hence, only in these countries is it possible now to blow up national unity and establish class unity. Lenin, absolutely. There you go. Absolutely. I'm not talking out of my ass. I had a deep-seated hatred towards, not hatred. I had a deep-seated criticism towards national identity even before I read Marx or Lenin. Like, internationalism came very naturally to me because of what I saw nationalism being manipulated did to the region of ex-Yugoslavia. So I was always hyper-skeptical to it. But then when I was given the class dimension through education, through class education, everything clicked even more. Because before then, I was explaining it to myself through very liberal means, like people be tribal, like people be different, culture different. They cannot live together because people are not like same thing type shit. You know, they're like that hot take is so fucking liberal. It's borderline. Like white nationalist. It's like, we cannot be we are the garden and they are the jungle type shit. You know what I mean? Like, very stupid analysis. But hey, everyone was fucking dumb at some point.
And I had a clip of somebody that I cared about. I would bring it to them first. And I think that is the type of behavior that we should, like, inside the left-wing sphere. I know there's old clips of Hassan that exist that are bad and misogynistic or transphobic. Or, you know, I don't want to, we've talked about some of them before. Maybe there's another clip out there that doesn't exist. If I came across such a clip.
Subscribe to support the People's Court, currently in session, judging Mike from PA, also known as Central Committee. Will, by the end of this stream, Mike be hanged or will he be given another chance? That depends on our justice work here. But these courts do not operate from the dime of the capitalist state. No, they operate thanks to your kind contributions in the form of bits, subscriptions, and gift subs. Support the People's Digital Court. Join us in actively judging other comrades, and in return, you get to feel superior. I once said a video of French far-right guy coming to my country, Tunisia, and saying how there were many flags and people were proud of the country because we are a periphery country and our patriotism is rooted in national liberation and resistance to imperialism. Absolutely. And complaining that in France he can't do the same. Yeah, completely missing the point. Absolutely. Which basically means that he wants to brag about empire, genocide, and being an open racist. Absolutely. Completely fucking missing the point. Thank you very much, Six Stringer Anarchist. Subiversary, let's go. Thank you very much. Be like Six String Anarchist. Support the People's Court right now. Oil me the fuck up. Yeah, man, they do the same shit like everywhere. They go to another country. They analyze it out of context. Directly compare it to their home, be it England, Germany, or the United States or whatever, and then make an argument for something reactionary back home. Like a very typical thing is when they go to Slavic countries and they're like, ugh, look at how white they are. This is so cool. Without mentioning that, you know, almost all of these Slavic countries never participated in the slave trade. A lot of them themselves were colonies. Like, John, why they so white? Like, maybe because they never put motherfuckers in ships and then brought them there to work to death without payment, right? So they love going and being like, oh, look, they're doing so well over here. There's, you know, everybody looks the same. But it's because they, you know, it's absurd. It's so yeah, they take something, they recontextualize it, or for example, anti-communists going to places in the Eastern Bloc which on average for regular citizen are exceptionally safe, walking down the street, criminality, blah, blah, blah. And they'll make the fact that they're very safe places, unless you are, an active combatant for the mob, that they're very safe places, and they make it into a thing that, it's because most of them are pasty asses, right? Instead of understanding the fact that this was under Soviet governance for 45 to 50 years. And let's just say that the Soviets were not very open to negotiating with capitalist criminal enterprises or random everyday Joes running around the street and mogging people, number one. And number two, these countries have a very well-developed social net and social security net, which limits how many people go into petty crime or even large crime, etc., etc. So yes, what I'm saying is basically Western white nationalists will go into Eastern Europe or the Balkans. They'll be like, look how safe it is here. And then completely ignore that it's safe because these places used to, operate under a socialist experiment for a very long time. But instead, they'll make it, it's because they're white, right? Like, fascists will ignore the fact that a place is safe because it existed under socialism for a while, and instead pretend that it's about race. The same race that they do not count Slavs as being part of in other conversations. It's hilarious. Not to mention when they ignore the historical context of where the word Slav comes from as well. Yeah, it's always fucking absurd. The same thing is with race. It was originally created as white person. Oh, well, it's someone who's not black and has light skin. And then it expanded further and was like, so there are other people that are exactly white or black. So we will put them slightly higher than black people, but under us, the whites. Yeah. It's all social fucking constructs that we've willed into existence so much that they are now massive fucking problems for everyone.
The nature of our society today, and it is in certain ways unavoidable. However, it doesn't mean that you should act, but we have a very sick stan culture. And with somebody like me, I'm a political commentator. So I don't just represent myself. I represent the ideas that I advocate for. And so when I am attacked, parasocialism goes both ways. People who agree with me may put me on a pedestal. People who disagree with me may hate me, may put me up as a 2-minute hate. They may demonize me. They may attack me. They may dehumanize me. And so there's parasocial hate and there is parasocial affection. And both of those could lead you astray, right? I think that with myself and Hassan, we get so much parasocial hate that a lot of you who support me want to defend me from parasocial hate. That is hate that is dehumanizing me as opposed to criticizing what I say or do. If somebody is criticizing what I say or do in good faith,
yeah, and sometimes people are overly defensive because most of the criticism they get is from absurd chuds. And chat, let's be objective here, is, a bunch of names, a bunch of text coming in at very fast speeds. And sometimes somebody thinks that a chatter is a brand new person in the community and that their criticism is coming from a bad place. So they might react and call them like, a stupid fucking idiot. And then it becomes a whole fucking thing. So yeah, it's a very interesting area to thread. And when someone makes a mistake, I think most of chat will always see that it was an unintentional one, and if the person mentions it and properly addresses it, chat chills the fuck out. I'm like, no, I'm not. It also comes from a lot of motherfuckers just being weird as shit. Like not knowing how to. Parasocial relationships are still relationships. Like if a lot of these people that like overreact, truly do overreact sometimes, and on the opposite side of the spectrum truly underreact sometimes because of the particular parasocial relationship that they have with a particular content creator. If they are so weird with parasocial relationships, can you imagine how fucking weird IRL they are as well? Like they will let their friend abuse them and still be okay because they consider them a friend, or they will be hypercritical of their friend in absolutely everything that they do because they're not looking at it as a mutual relationship, but I don't know, a figure to constantly be sculpting. I'm just saying, a lot of strange motherfuckers that end up starting a lot of these conversations. And this is not even talking about, like, the reactionaries constantly coming into, progressive communities being like, we want to start shit.
Well, I don't think that's I think that's an overcorrection. I think we need to learn how to calibrate, which is become accepting of good faith critique. And we need to learn discernment, which is this person offering this in good faith? Is this person offering these critiques and these arguments from the perspective of charity? Or are they doing it for an ulterior motive? If not,
correct. The Yugopnik People's Court says correct takes 10 out of 10, Mike. It is looking like Mike will not be publicly executed on this fine day.
is reified by
support our People's Court for $6 a month or for free through Prime and avoid the ad that is going to play in 4 minutes. What if, while the ad is playing, you miss a hot take that is bad and you miss me saying, holy shit, that is a bad hot take? Will you be able to live with yourself? Probably not. So take out that debit card and use it on the best thing you can. Subscribing to motherfuckers on Twitch.
When you start telling
now,
yourself,
that's a pitch.
I can't criticize this person because it's going to hurt the movement. Don't we hear that's one of my biggest criticisms of the Democrats and the vote blue no matter who people. How many people were like, we need to ignore the genocide because the Republicans are worse, and if you criticize Kamala Harris, you're going to make the Republicans win. How many times did we hear that? And I was one of the people saying, no, we should criticize Kamala Harris so that she can become better, because I want to beat the Republicans. I want to end the genocide in Gaza. So we were criticizing her.
Caught in 4K. Mike says he wants to beat people who vote for the Democrats.
See,
Mike out here with a bat beating the living shit out of people outside of polling stations.
So I think that it's not so simple as never defend anybody who's prominent because that's parasocial. That's not true. But we also need to create an environment. This is one of the broader problems of the broader space of chat. Marginalized chatters and creators.
Parasocial just means that you really care about a person on screen, but parasocial can be negatively parasocial, like you really hate. Okay, you have a relationship, but you really hate them, or you sycophantically love them. Both of these should not be relationships you engage in IRL or with a digital creator. They're not bad because they're with a digital creator. They're bad because you shouldn't be a psychopath for anybody, and you shouldn't just hate someone for just to hate them.
Faith critique and bad faith critique. I think when somebody when you label another person, for example, a Nazi, right? You have ended the good faith critique end of the conversation. You're kind of saying like, hey, we're labeling this person a Nazi, and we are saying that they should be ostracized from the community, right? Because that's what I feel. Like if I call someone a Nazi, I am saying this person existing is a threat, right? So I feel like there is good faith criticism, and then there is like when somebody and
unless they are a Nazi, but with a Nazi you don't have a negative parasocial relationship with, because somebody needs to be a human in order for you to have a negative parasocial relationship with them, and Nazis are not human. So yeah, I'm actually talking about humans.
Oh, how to do apologies, how to do forgiveness, how to do these types of conversations. And I don't want you to just immediately, with good faith, with people that are vetted as part of our communities, are as totally wrong. And I do feel like that is the important difference, right? That is the important difference, is that we need to learn discernment. We need to learn how to separate ourselves from bad faith shitters. And it is fun to shit on a bad faith shitter. Who isn't? Who doesn't have fun doing that? I mean, that's half of us on stream is pulling up a gray name, right? But at the same time, we need to be open to good faith criticism. Did Aspen get you banned or Twitch just banned? Asmongold can't get anybody banned. Asmongold can't get anyone banned. Right? The only people that can get me banned are the Twitch ban team. Like, they tried to get me,
which are like the best people on the planet, and I really love you and deeply respect you. And if you gave me an address, I would send you 10% of all of my Twitch revenue. Thank you.
whole thing. Let's go back to watching some critique. Let's go back to the Bad Empanada video and let's push forward.
Maybe he meant to say like Israeli is a constructed identity, like constructed nationality, and I mean, yeah, that is. But I feel like, you know, in the context of what he was responding to, Netanyahu was talking about Jews and Arabs. It's pretty difficult to say that he didn't mean what he said. And yes, Israeli absolutely is, like Israel as a country, the Israeli national identity, the Zionist national identity. These are absolutely constructs. It is ethno-nationalism, like esoteric ethno-nationalism, in the same way that like Nazism.
The most contradictory thing about white nationalists is how they lump all white people of Western Europe, US, Canada, and other countries and their cultures into so-called white culture. By doing that, they are unironically destroying the various different cultures of the inherent European countries. Absolutely. And that is a very specific either American white nationalist thing that they do, or a highly pragmatic racist from Europe. Highly pragmatic racists from Europe just think that individual fascist movements of individual European countries cannot achieve victory unless they cooperate. So therefore, they engaged in the white genocide conversation and the and white identity conversation. But deep down inside, the French guy still thinks that the Italian guy is a little bit too brown. While in the United States, because of it being formed by immigrants, they have to play at something that is not bound to ethnic identity, only insofar as they come from Europe, except the fact that they come from Europe. So that's how they categorize white identity there. White nationalist identity, not white identity. White identity is whatever. This identity is always from the perspective of the beholder when it comes to ethnic and national identity. So it's depending on who is doing the defining, the thing means something else. Because of what I said earlier, all of this is just invented fucking words. We all sat down and we're like, oh, now we're this thing. And then that thing became that social category, that tribal identity of this or that sort.
I did not. In fact, this is another point. Thank you for bringing that up, because it's also a point blank lie. I talk about Asmongold and Ethan Klein less than every other political streamer on this platform, period. I didn't watch the content nuke. I will.
Hi, I exist. But yeah, I get it.
But I talk about them less. In fact, I addressed attacks that were made against me because I was in the content nuke, and yet I did not react to the content nuke. The reason why one of the reasons why I'm not being sued is because I watched less Ethan Klein than almost everyone else. That's just so the idea that Mike from PA profits from other people's suffering or is stirring up this drama is just point blank false. I've made tweets about Ethan Klein. That's for sure. But on my main platform, I've actually watched it a lot less than other people. It's not to say that I haven't. It's just saying relative to other people. The other idea And as far as me,
why is he even talking about this? Be like, yeah, I made fucking bank. Fuck that shit. Why the fuck not? I talk about them. Who gives a fuck? Yeah, Mike, why are you defending? First time that Judge Ugopnik says 5 out of 10, Mike. This was an L.
watches more Ethan than you. Literally.
Even addressing this conversation is a complete waste of time. It's shooting yourself in the foot. Because the fact that you're addressing this immediately paints you watching and reacting to Asmongold or Ethan Klein as a bad thing. No. Chud watches are a very fucking good and hilarious thing, but also a tool to educate people by dissecting fucking reactionary hot takes. People in Hassan's community are mad at him, and people who just do drama shit, they like you though because you don't. Yeah, I try not to, unless that's when it's very spicy. Then I put on babushka hat and I'm like, bring out the sunflower seeds. This shit's gonna be sick.
That is true. I did do that during my shill a lot, but that's just for the purpose of laughs and giggles. It's not me like talking about Ethan Klein's daily takes.
The difference between me doing drama and other people doing drama is, okay, there's 3 types of people that engage in drama. There's smart dudes like Mike or, for example, Noah Samson that use it as a jumping off point in order to educate people on a broader topic, right? So, I'm going to catch you with a stream title or a YouTube thumbnail about Ethan Klein, but then I'm going to spend most of my time talking about Gaza, okay? So pragmatists, I am not this category. Second group just does that because they get a lot of views so they can make a lot more money, which God bless, I respect it, but that's not me. And number 3, people who watch it because they're petty and they really enjoy sharing in a profound hate together with chat as they point and laugh at literal troglodytes trying to put together reactionary arguments. That's the 3rd category. That's me. I do it because it's my, what do you call it? It's my guilty pleasure. I don't know. I like bullying reactionaries. I mean, it's a fun, right? Can you rate out of 10 his attempt so far to regain what he lost? 10. 10. No, he's doing very well. And not just from a PR perspective, he's doing very well in addressing all the points that he needs to address. Not hiding behind his words, not being a coward about it, and not, he's both acknowledging what he needs to acknowledge, he's rejecting bad faith criticism that he needs to reject, and he is saying that he's open to readjust and learn. And 10 out of 10, I would... I would not call this an apology stream or whatever. No, he's just addressing criticism, which is perfectly fair, perfectly normal. It's our reality TV. It really is pandas, though, isn't it? Because I do feel like a hypocrite when I walk into some, I don't know, house party or whatever, and it's like 5 a.m. and they're crashing out and they're watching fucking Lost Island or whatever that shit was called, with the big pecs and big booba people like just kissing and stuff. I have never watched Lost Island or Island people with stuff. But I judged them. I absolutely judged them. I'm like, how can you watch reality TV, you literal fucking barbarian? And then I just consume my type of reality TV, which is watching people like Ethan Klein and being like, look at this fucking idiot. So yeah, I am a hypocrite. So are all of us. That's the whole point. That's what I'm trying to tell you to an extent. Love Island, Hugo. There you go, Love Island. Oh, Love Island. Love Island is great. There you go. I'm immediately touching some buttons. I mean, Love Island is definitely touching you guys' buttons if you're watching that shit, if you know what I mean.
And Capri.
But my reality TV is intellectual reality TV, for we talk about the most modern social and economic issues of our time. Do you not know, simple peasant? You simply watch hot people talk to each other on an island. I watch very ugly and strange-looking people talk about genocides. You and me, we are not the same. Clip that. That shit's good. Clip that. Or timestamp that rant, pandas. If you later have time, timestamp that rant for TikTok and send it to me on Discord. I would love you so much for it.
Hacking us, you guys. There is an avoidant personality belief that if you just ignore a problem,
Welcome
it will
back
go away,
to-
and it's not the case.
I,
Most of us have stopped talking about Ethan Klein because he's just boring and irrelevant. But it's no one's fault. It's no one's fault.
The Israeli national identity, the Zionist national identity, these are absolutely constructs. It is ethno-nationalism, like esoteric ethno-nationalism, in the same way that like Nazism was esoteric ethno-nationalism for Germans, just for Jews. But like the Jewish ethnicity is not, I mean, it's constructed, sure, but so is every ethnicity. Every ethnicity is...
Oh, based
I
empanada.
think Sean's
Absolutely.
conversation needs to have more attention. Black people do feel expected to show up but not really included in the conversation. I do think your knowledge on how to be inclusive of black people in these conversations is a bit weaker, kind of like Bernie. And broad policies don't appeal as much to black people. And I think Sean is dead on that. But I do think that is where you aren't the strongest. I know this conversation wasn't solely about your weak spot on you. I mean, we could talk more about that. Instead of admitting you watch Ethan and could watch less, you could revert back to refusing. You revert back to refusing to hear critiques and dismissing shatters and blaming other streamers instead. Huh? I think I was not doing that at all. I think that that's not the case at all. Who did I blame? That's interesting.
There you go. Perfect example of just bad faith going in and they wanting to start shit for the sake of starting shit. You always have this stuff. By the way, you know, I got no case build. I carry my phone with no case now. I feel so premium. I have made it, chat. I'm no longer afraid of breaking my phone, thanks to beautiful subscribers such as yourself. Okay. When you have more than 1,500 subscribers, you stop wearing a phone case. Sorry, you ain't like me, baby. It actually feels so good. It feels so good without a case. Anyways, yeah, what we're talking about? Oh, yes, this.
There was more to it that I was saying. It's fine to talk about that for a larger point conversation. I mean, this is kind of a feel. I will say this. I don't think whether or not I talk about Ethan Klein is the topic of this stream today. I apologize for going down this route. This is a
Screen cracked in 2 weeks. No, I've been wearing this for like a month and a half at least.
distraction from the larger point. I don't know what the purpose of that conversation is.
Okay, you guys can continue watching Mike's stream over on Mike. I think we're gonna jump over to other topics today. Mike, 10 out of 10. You did well, brother. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.